Are you feeling overwhelmed and stretched too thin by the demands of modern life? In Essentialism by Greg McKeown, we explore the power of essentialism and how it can transform our lives. In the introduction, McKeown sets the stage by explaining the concept of essentialism and its importance in our lives. He believes that essentialism is the disciplined pursuit of less, and that by focusing on what is truly important, we can achieve more with less effort. McKeown draws upon his extensive experience as a consultant and speaker to share practical techniques for embracing essentialism, including the importance of saying no, setting boundaries, and focusing on the most important tasks. He also explores the role of mindset and attitude in our lives and how we can cultivate an essentialist mindset. Throughout the book, McKeown shares inspiring stories of individuals who have transformed their lives through the power of essentialism. He also provides practical advice for readers on how to overcome common obstacles and pitfalls on the path to essentialism. Essentialism offers a powerful message of hope and inspiration for anyone seeking to simplify their lives and focus on what truly matters. Join us on a journey of self-discovery and growth in Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Part 1, Essence. The Essentialist. Chapter 1, Choose, the Invincible Power of Choice. In the first chapter of Essentialism, McKeown emphasizes the importance of choice and how it influences our lives. He explains that we often become trapped in a cycle of thinking that everything is important and that we need to do it all. This mindset causes us to spread ourselves too thin and not achieve our desired results. The author encourages readers to make conscious choices about what they prioritize in their lives. By choosing to do only what is essential, individuals can achieve their desired outcomes and avoid burnout. McKeown stresses that the power of choice is invincible and that we can always choose how we spend our time and energy. Furthermore, the author provides practical tips on how to make choices effectively. He suggests developing a personal core statement that reflects one's values and goals. This statement can help individuals make better decisions by guiding them towards what truly matters. Overall, the first chapter of Essentialism emphasizes the importance of choice and how it can positively impact our lives if we choose to prioritize what is essential. Chapter 2, Discern, the Unimportance of Practically Everything. In the second chapter, McKeown discusses the concept of discernment and its importance in becoming an essentialist. He explains that discernment is the process of evaluating what is truly essential and what is not. The author argues that many people fall into the trap of assuming that everything is important and fail to differentiate between the vital few and the trivial many. This leads to a lack of focus, overwhelm, and a loss of direction. To become an essentialist, McKeown encourages readers to develop the skill of discernment by asking themselves critical questions that help them evaluate what is truly essential. He suggests that individuals ask themselves questions such as, what do I really want? And what are the trade-offs of doing or not doing this? The author emphasizes that discernment is a skill that needs to be practiced regularly. He provides practical strategies for improving discernment, such as setting boundaries, learning to say no, and focusing on what is essential. Overall, the second chapter stresses the importance of discernment in becoming an essentialist and how developing this skill can lead to greater clarity, focus, and purpose in life. Chapter 3, Trade-off, Which Problem Do I Want? In Chapter 3, McKeown discusses the concept of trade-offs and how they are an essential part of becoming an essentialist. He explains that trade-offs involve choosing between two options and deciding which is more important or valuable. The author suggests that individuals should make trade-offs based on what is truly essential in their lives. This means being willing to say no to non-essential tasks or opportunities in favor of what is most important. To make effective trade-offs, McKeown encourages readers to evaluate the true cost of their choices. This includes considering the opportunity cost, or what they are giving up by choosing one option over another. Furthermore, the author stresses that trade-offs are not a one-time decision but a continuous process. He provides practical strategies for making trade-offs effectively, such as evaluating options based on their long-term value and considering the impact of choices on one's overall goals. Overall, the third chapter emphasizes the importance of making trade-offs based on what is truly essential and how this can lead to a more fulfilling and purposeful life. Part 2, Explore. Escape, the Perks of Being Unavailable. Chapter 4, Look, See What Really Matters. In Chapter 4, McKeown discusses the concept of seeing and how it relates to becoming an essentialist. He explains that seeing involves paying attention to what is truly important and filtering out distractions. The author emphasizes that seeing is a skill that needs to be developed and practiced regularly. He suggests that individuals can improve their ability to see by focusing on what is essential and minimizing distractions. McEwen also discusses the role of technology and how it can both help and hinder one's ability to see. He suggests that individuals should use technology deliberately and intentionally, rather than allowing it to control their lives. Furthermore, the author encourages readers to take time to reflect and evaluate their priorities regularly. This involves being honest with oneself about what is truly essential and making adjustments accordingly. Overall, the fourth chapter stresses the importance of developing the skill of seeing and how this can lead to greater clarity, focus, and purpose in life. Before we continue, we would like to inform you that we release these summaries in audio format on Spotify before we release them on YouTube in video format, with subtitles. We have also created a goldmine of information which you can get exclusive access to by supporting us on Patreon. You get in-depth summaries plus scripts, usually twice the length of our YouTube content, a list of the top 20 key takeaways and exercises, summary requests, and more. Thank you for the support and don't forget to hit the like button. Chapter 5, Play, Embrace the Wisdom of Your Inner Child. In Chapter 5, McEwen discusses the importance of play and how it can contribute to a more fulfilling and purposeful life. He explains that play is not just for children but is also an essential part of being human. The author suggests that play can help individuals tap into their creativity, curiosity, and passion. He encourages readers to incorporate play into their daily lives by finding activities that bring them joy and energize them. Furthermore, McEwen emphasizes that play is not a waste of time but rather an investment in one's overall well-being. He suggests that individuals who take time to play regularly are often more productive, creative, and innovative in their work. The author also provides practical tips for incorporating play into one's life, such as finding a hobby or activity that is enjoyable, setting aside time for play, and embracing the playful side of oneself. Overall, the fifth chapter emphasizes the importance of play in achieving a more fulfilling and purposeful life. Chapter 6, Sleep, Protect the Asset. In Chapter 6, McEwen discusses the importance of sleep and how it can impact one's overall well-being and productivity. He explains that sleep is not a luxury but a necessity for optimal health and performance. The author emphasizes that individuals who prioritize sleep are often more productive, focused, and creative in their work. He suggests that individuals should aim to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night and make sleep a priority in their daily lives. Furthermore, McEwen provides practical tips for improving the quality of one's sleep, such as creating a bedtime routine, establishing a sleep-conducive environment, and avoiding electronics before bedtime. The author also emphasizes that taking care of oneself through adequate sleep is not selfish but rather an investment in one's overall well-being. Overall, the sixth chapter stresses the importance of sleep in achieving optimal health and productivity and provides practical strategies for improving the quality of one's sleep. Chapter 7, Select, the Power of Extreme Criteria. In Chapter 7, McEwen discusses the concept of extreme criteria and how it can help individuals make better decisions. He explains that extreme criteria involve setting very high standards for what is truly essential and filtering out everything else. The author suggests that extreme criteria can help individuals avoid distractions and focus on what truly matters. He encourages readers to develop their own set of extreme criteria based on their values and goals. Furthermore, McEwen emphasizes that setting extreme criteria is not about being perfect but rather about striving for excellence. He provides practical strategies for developing extreme criteria, such as asking critical questions about what is truly essential and prioritizing based on long-term value. Overall, the seventh chapter stresses the importance of setting extreme criteria in making better decisions and how this can lead to greater clarity, focus, and purpose in life. Part 3, Eliminate. Clarify, one decision that makes 1,000. Chapter 8, Dare, the Power of a Graceful No. In Chapter 8, McEwen discusses the importance of saying no and how it can help individuals become essentialists. He explains that saying no is not about being negative but rather about setting boundaries and prioritizing what is truly essential. The author suggests that individuals who say no effectively are often more successful and fulfilled in their lives. He provides practical tips for saying no gracefully, such as being honest, offering alternative solutions, and focusing on what is truly essential. Furthermore, McEwen emphasizes that saying no is a skill that needs to be developed and practiced regularly. He suggests that individuals can improve their ability to say no by setting clear boundaries, focusing on what is essential, and being intentional with their time and energy. Overall, The 8th chapter of Essentialism stresses the importance of saying no and becoming an essentialist and how developing this skill can lead to greater clarity, focus, and purpose in life. Chapter 9, Uncommit, Win Big by Cutting Your Losses. In Chapter 9, McEwen discusses the concept of uncommitting and how it can help individuals become essentialists. He explains that uncommitting involves cutting out activities, projects, or commitments that are no longer aligned with one's values or goals. The author suggests that uncommitting can help individuals avoid becoming overcommitted and overwhelmed. He encourages readers to assess their current commitments and determine which ones are truly essential. Furthermore, McEwen emphasizes that uncommitting is not about giving up or being a quitter but rather about focusing on what truly matters. He provides practical strategies for uncommitting, such as setting clear criteria for what is truly essential and being willing to let go of commitments that are no longer serving one's goals. Overall, the 9th chapter stresses the importance of uncommitting and becoming an essentialist and how this can lead to greater clarity, focus, and purpose in life. Chapter 10, Edit, The Invisible Art. In Chapter 10, McEwen discusses the importance of editing and how it can help individuals become essentialists. He explains that editing involves cutting out the non-essential and focusing on what truly matters. The author suggests that editing is an invisible art that requires practice and discipline. He encourages readers to develop their own editing skills by being intentional with their time, energy, and resources. Furthermore, McEwen emphasizes that editing is not about being perfect but rather about being intentional and focused on what truly matters. He provides practical strategies for editing, such as assessing one's current commitments and focusing on the essential, setting boundaries and saying no to non-essential distractions, and creating a system for managing time and resources effectively. Overall, the 10th chapter stresses the importance of editing and becoming an essentialist and how this can lead to greater clarity, focus, and purpose in life. Chapter 11, Limit, The Freedom of Setting Boundaries. In Chapter 11, McEwen discusses the concept of setting boundaries and how it can lead to greater freedom and fulfillment. He explains that setting boundaries involves limiting one's commitments and activities to what is truly essential, which can help individuals avoid becoming overcommitted and overwhelmed. The author suggests that setting boundaries can be difficult but is ultimately essential for achieving one's goals and living a fulfilling life. He encourages readers to be intentional with their time and energy, set clear priorities, and say no to non-essential commitments. Furthermore, McEwen emphasizes that setting boundaries is not about being rigid or closed off but rather about creating space for what truly matters. He provides practical strategies for setting boundaries, such as creating a stop-doing list, assessing one's current commitments and activities, and focusing on the essential. Overall, the 11th chapter stresses the importance of setting boundaries and becoming an essentialist and how this can lead to greater clarity, focus, and purpose in life. Part 4, Execute. Buffer, The Unfair Advantage. Chapter 12, Subtract, Bring Forth More by Removing Obstacles. In Chapter 12, McEwen discusses the importance of removing obstacles and distractions in achieving one's goals. He explains that subtracting involves removing the non-essential and focusing on what truly matters. The author suggests that subtracting can help individuals become more productive, creative, and fulfilled in their lives. He provides practical strategies for subtracting, such as identifying and removing obstacles, eliminating unnecessary activities and commitments, and simplifying one's life. Furthermore, McEwen emphasizes that subtracting is not about sacrificing what is important but rather about making room for what truly matters. He encourages readers to be intentional with their time and energy, focus on their priorities, and remove anything that stands in the way of their goals. Overall, the 12th chapter stresses the importance of subtracting and becoming an essentialist and how this can lead to greater clarity, focus, and purpose in life. Chapter 13, Progress, The Power of Small Wins. In Chapter 13, McEwen discusses the importance of making progress towards one's goals and the power of small wins in achieving success. He explains that small wins can create momentum, build confidence, and help individuals stay motivated in the pursuit of their goals. The author suggests that breaking down larger goals into smaller, more manageable tasks can help individuals make consistent progress and achieve success. He encourages readers to focus on progress rather than perfection and to celebrate small wins along the way. Furthermore, McEwen emphasizes the importance of creating a system for tracking progress and staying accountable to one's goals. He provides practical strategies for measuring progress, such as setting milestones, tracking data, and reflecting on one's progress regularly. Overall, the 13th chapter stresses the importance of making progress towards one's goals and the power of small wins in achieving success. Chapter 14, Flow, the Genius of Routine. In Chapter 14, McEwen discusses the concept of flow and the importance of routine in achieving it. He explains that flow is a state of mind in which individuals are fully immersed and focused on a task, leading to increased productivity and creativity. The author suggests that routine can help individuals achieve flow by creating a structure and consistency in their daily lives. He encourages readers to establish a regular routine that supports their goals and allows for focused, uninterrupted work. Furthermore, McEwen emphasizes the importance of prioritizing one's most important work during times of peak productivity, such as early in the morning or after taking a break. He provides practical strategies for establishing a routine, such as creating a morning routine, setting specific times for focused work, and taking breaks to recharge. Overall, the 14th chapter stresses the importance of routine in achieving flow and how this can lead to greater productivity, creativity, and fulfillment in life. Chapter 15, Focus, What's Important Now? Chapter 15 emphasizes the importance of focusing on what is important now. The author explains that there is a difference between focusing on what is important and trying to do everything at once. He encourages readers to take a step back, assess their priorities, and focus on the most important task at hand. The chapter introduces the quarterly personal offsite, a meeting with oneself to evaluate progress and reset priorities. It suggests creating a priority list to avoid becoming sidetracked and focusing on the essential tasks. The chapter concludes with the idea that focusing on the present is the key to a meaningful life. Instead of worrying about the future or regretting the past, focus on the present moment. Chapter 16, B, The Essentialist Life. Chapter 16 serves as a wrap-up to the book, summarizing the essentialist philosophy and providing final advice for readers. The author emphasizes that becoming an essentialist is not a one-time decision but a continuous process of improvement. The chapter advises readers to live the essentialist life by practicing essentialist habits, like identifying their highest priorities, saying no more often, and creating space to think and recharge. The author emphasizes that essentialism is not about achieving perfection but about prioritizing the important things in life. He also notes that being an essentialist does not mean sacrificing joy or happiness. In fact, it can lead to a more meaningful and fulfilling life. The final message of the chapter is that essentialism is a journey, and the destination is a more fulfilled, purposeful, and meaningful life. Appendix, Leadership Essentials. In the appendix of Essentialism, Greg McEwen provides practical advice for leaders who want to implement essentialism principles in their organizations. He argues that the most effective leaders are essentialists who focus on what is truly important and eliminate distractions. McEwen suggests that leaders should start by setting a clear vision and communicating it to their team. This vision should be concise, compelling, and aligned with the organization's values. Next, leaders should identify the top priorities that will help achieve this vision and focus on them relentlessly. They should also establish clear boundaries around their time and energy, saying no to requests that are not aligned with their priorities. To foster a culture of essentialism, leaders should empower their team members to make decisions and take ownership of their work. They should also create space for reflection and renewal, encouraging their team members to take breaks and recharge. Finally, McEwen emphasizes the importance of leading by example. If leaders want their team members to prioritize essentialism, they must model this behavior themselves. By embodying the principles of essentialism, leaders can create a culture that values focus, simplicity, and results.